Hey guys, Boy here, and this is Things I Learned with Liquid.Miracle's Legion Commander in 7-11. As of always, I just want to remind you guys that I'm streaming every single day, be it casting or playing games, so if you want to know when I'm doing it, follow me on Twitch. It's the easiest way to do it. By the way, I need to show you guys something before this video starts. I rarely ask for people to subscribe in the channel or ring the bell button, but just listen to what these YouTube guys are saying.
We don't notify all of your subscribers, right? We notify all of your subscribers who have rung the bell, and then your most active subscribers after that.
Basically, if you don't follow my channel very frequently, which means opening a lot of videos very often, it is unlikely that you get video recommendations even if you're subscribed. So this is not me asking for you to ring the bell, but if you're a busy person that only accesses the channel every week, maybe ringing the bell might be a way to be sure you'll be reminded of the content when it interests you. Anyways, this game starts with one of the most beautiful offlane Radiant pulls I've ever seen. If you ever played offlane in the Radiant side, you know how freaking hard it is to offlane pull without dying. So notice how Miracle approaches this. He sees everyone from the Dire in the low ground, goes up the ramp while the Pvgna is about to respawn, and look how he sneakily gets closer by abusing that ward vision. Because he can see the Dire supports, he just buys as much time as possible, and one important part of all of this is eating that tree, or else the two supports could lock him there. If you analyze how much move speed Miracle gets with the overwhelming odds here, he's getting 15%, while he could get 30% using it on the heroes. Also note how he waits Disruptor to learn one of the skills to then decide to TP out. And you might be wondering, well, he spent his TP, he got harassed, what did he get out of all of this? An offlane pull. That overwhelming odds, while standing close enough to draw aggro, and more importantly, with enemies having vision of him, or else the creeps wouldn't aggro, allows him to farm pretty well. If you just use overwhelming odds from the fog, creeps will not follow you without vision. Even more importantly, Mr. Miracle does not farm them until the next creep wave arrives, giving him perfect, crispy and moist equilibrium close to his tower. Legion is one of the best heroes to trade hits when close to your creep wave. Most offlaners lose trades against carriers because they lack regen and they're taking creep damage. Look how Miracle, knowing that the supports were not there, trades with terrorblade. It's worth noting that with level 1 passive, sometimes it's good to wait the cooldown and not trade hits for too long, and that's kinda what he attempts here. He gets a Quelling Blade and keep watching. The supports will obviously rotate after that, and look how Miracle gets out of this sticky situation. He makes sure to overwhelming odds as Lion comes to get more move speed, and since Disruptor is still level 1, he knows he can get out of there scotch-free. There's no point in not trading hits with Kinetic Field on, since he can at least lifesteal a little bit, and thanks to the Crispy Wand and Salve usage, he survives. See how he doesn't get back to the base straight away? Look at the size of the creep wave. A lot of low MMR players are super afraid of dying, and they don't assess the situation properly. Not only he is able to cancel the Salve from Terrorblade, that he wouldn't be able to if he just had it back, he's able to leech a lot of experience. He doesn't get that many less hits, but notice two things. First, he leaves the lane when it stops pushing and it stabilizes. And with that HP level, it's pretty scary to contest CS. But he got pretty much half a level and he hurt Terrorblade by assessing the situation correctly. When Miracle goes back to the lane, I feel like he either expected the supports to be smoking his mid laner, or that Willow being there would lure them. See how aggressively he trades with Terrorblade? It makes sense. Before any of the supports shows up, he had lost almost no HP while Terrorblade is suffering pretty hard. He was wrong though, both supports were there and he tried his best to Fairy Fire into one to survive again. But that Earth Spike got him unprepared and he falls. Not the best showing, but if you notice the fact that the 3 enemies were there casting AoE skills, it pushes the lane towards Miracle anyways. Even though he has no TP and he lost some creep CS, he can still benefit from that aggression on the safety of his tower, whereas if he played passive or if he was jungling, Terrorblade would be able to get the creep wave back to the enemy tier 1. The way Miracle uses overwhelming odds in lane is also worth talking about. Usually when a creep wave is dying, only one creep is taking heavy damage, and that's when the low MMR legions use the overwhelming odds to harass and get 1 CS. But he draws aggro here, and by attacking a second creep, he's able to get 2 CSs at the same time while harassing Terrorblade, and that prepped the range creep for another smooth CS. Pretty juicy. Since Miracle was again playing that aggressively, notice what happens. Terrorblade starts walking up to you, and at that point you know the supports are there, and Miracle dies, but notice two things. First, he's Omega dead anyway, so popping the magic wand here is a waste of those charges he collected. And second, since Terrorblade had to pop Metamorphosis here, with creeps attacking his tower, instead of when he was close to the Miracle's tower, notice what happens when the lane actually pushes against Miracle. Metamorphosis is over, and his tower is full HP. People confuse dying with being bad at Dota, but since Miracle was being aggressive that often, the supports never ganked any lanes, and more importantly, his deaths never meant tower damage. In fact, he dealt more damage to the TB's tower with the catapult that he actually pushed when he was being aggressive. The fact he jungled quickly here also got him to level 5 to harass the wave fast enough to mitigate the damage to structures as best as possible. He pushes the lane once again, and for a second, we can see that Terrorblade is only 10 less hits ahead of the Legion, even though the supports were there pretty much the entire time. Lion starts trading, and Miracle once again plays aggressively. After all, he has 10 magic 1 charges, but Disruptor TPs in, and while he almost gets a kill, he falls once again. But that's a TP top, Lion having to go back to base, and TB not farming while also taking a lot of harass. When Miracle is about to get level 6, we see him going for very creative ways to surprise Terrorblade. Even though he's already level 6, Miracle definitely has kill potential here. Look how he uses the trees to sap experience, waiting for level 6 and maybe a good overwhelming odds. With Dark Willow there and Terrorblade going for the side chop, he quickly snatches 2 extra CS and a stalemate starts. He tries to cut a tree here to get easy access to TB in case he goes for CS, but he understands what's up, so Miracle doesn't get what he was looking for. You might think that Miracle dying that much is bad. He should go back to playing mid or safe lane, right? Now, compare his net worth to the enemy offlaner. Because he took risks, he pushed the lane and harassed TB a lot, he's almost 1k gold ahead of the enemy Pangolin. There's also a huge difference on your standard Legend 2 Legion that dies 5 times in lane and loses the tower at 5 minutes, and Miracle here. Every time he died, he was pretty much fighting at the enemy tier 1, and since Legion is so bursty, the supports had to go back to base, Terrorblade had to fare selves, and they were never able to take his tower. One of the big mistakes that low MR players do is prioritizing item timings above all else, farming jungle camps or not being aggressive. Yeah, Miracle has 50% of Radiant deaths, but so what? He almost has the Dire's mid laner net worth, his tower is super healthy against the Terrorblade, and in fact the Terrorblade needs to rotate mid to get a tower because of how much damage overwhelming odds deals. Since he sees that, look how he dives here. With his Gyro rotating, they get a duo as well as a Pango with no Blink Dagger, with no Shadow Blade. With that, he finishes his drums, and look at the next fight. Another easy duo, and obviously, Twitch chat will lead you to believe that Miracle got carried this game. In fact, this YouTube video has a lot of dislikes, even saying that this is not Miracle playing. Anyways, you might be wondering why he went drums and armlet instead of Blink Dagger. Every single core hero in the Dire side deals primarily physical damage, and if he just jumps in, he can get bursted pretty quickly. There's also Glimpse, Hex, Impale, which means he won't be doing a lot of damage. So by going with this tanky build, not only it's harder for him to get bursted by the physical damage during the duels, he can also scale a little bit more. And I'm pretty sure this was one of the games where everyone else is super low MMR in comparison to Miracle, so he probably wanted to become a core. But at the same time, he's playing aggressive. Do you see the difference here? Going Blink Dagger first in a game like this can mean you snowballing just fine, or having 10 dual damage in 30 minutes. With the stat items, his farm is at least meaningful damage-wise, even if the initiation is not the easiest one. When he finally finishes Blink Dagger, pay attention to his decision making. Dire is going for an all-out push, and by positioning himself in the perfect spot, he deals an insane amount of damage. He disengages, but super importantly, without using Blink. Not only he could try to Blink out after the Glimpse, what ends up happening is that TA gets trapped by Curse Crown, and he can seal the deal, grabbing another duel for himself. One thing a lot of people forget or don't understand about Legion Commander is the difference between dueling someone against a creep wave or not. It's very similar to what Axe offers, but way stronger in the late game, because Axe usually just kills all the creeps, and at some point, this will reduce the damage. While on Legion's Commander case, that's not what happens at all. Even though TA is a higher level hero, since he's able to find her here and not by herself farming jungle camps, he bursts her through every refraction chart before Shadowfiend gets there because of the extra attacks and the press the attack, and that's just a juicy kill. By getting those items and actually becoming a core, instead of trying to just initiate every single fight, Miracle was able to aid his team throughout the entire game. Look how hard it was for Miracle to actually get duels off. In this fight around the Roshan Pit, with his BKB already completed, he scouts Dire as they finish the Roshan attempt, his team was not there in time, and since he has to pop BKB to disengage, when he goes for Disruptor, Lion shows up and he gets completely nullified. That also goes to show the difference between a Legion being attacked by 20 creeps and a Legion attacking a Disruptor with no one else there. It's not like this was the best use of his items and levels, since he could have used the Shadow Blade attack, but he felt like that was enough and pays the price. Imagine fighting into Dire before BKB then. If you pay attention, while they were ahead the entire game, the Dire team has way better raw damage, and I would even say that Dire uses the gold better than Radiant, especially because Shadowfiend didn't go for the early U-Scepter build to actually burst the TA. In this high ground defense, Miracle goes for the smart Shrine TP, and pretty much takes TA by himself. Without having to resort to BKBs, and thanks to the nature of Legion Commander, he doesn't have to go back to base. He has decent mana levels and just regions with creep waves while his team shrines. All of that, by the way, while deciding to go bottom lane. So he fixes the pushing problem while addressing the right lane while regening HP at the same time. They force 2 buybacks and they are forced to live. a stalemate ensues, and thanks to Miracle being that farmed and having Shadowblade and BKB, he's able to turn it around. Dueling Lion, his Shadow Fiend dies, but he's there to help his Gyro. But it's not over. Watch how this rank 1 EU player is able to showcase Legion's Commander insane abilities when TA is going from the low ground. He has 80 dual damage, and with vision from enemies somewhere else, he can... yeah. Well guys, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That's the only way I can know whether these videos are meaningful for you guys or not. If you miss any of the old series, please comment down below and I'll try to make one of these videos this week. There's going to be the Arcana giveaway, so be prepared. Follow me on Twitch, subscribe if you want to get more crisps, and be ready for some drunk casting on Sunday and a lot of juicy stuff. As of always, this video is sponsored by Pvgna. They have a huge library of videos. Pretty much every single tutorial is updated to 7.11, and if you want to get better at Dota, they have a lot of stuff that you can use, and hopefully you can also get better MMR. Thanks for watching, bye!